Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Working in Hockey podcast. I'm your host, Nick Bowins, and today, stoked to be joined by my guy, Cameron Orchard, currently working with Howies Hockey. He's the business development and HR director there, but more importantly, Western Michigan alum. How you been celebrating lately, man?
Oh, it's been a whirlwind. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be chatting with you today. And yeah, it's exciting time for Howies, but like you said, more importantly, more exciting for the Western Michigan Broncos. I feel like I'm still hungover from the experience in St. Louis. My whole Twitter feed, Instagram feed right now is still Broncos faithful, still posting exciting stuff. So a lot of buzz around the office here, obviously being a West Michigan-based company, and I'm basking in the glory of our company succeeding and our hockey team succeeding, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's awesome. I'm jealous. You were down there in St. Louis for it, right?
Yeah, I was actually fortunate enough. One of the guys I just hired here at Howie's, his mom actually won a frozen like face-off challenge, like bracket challenge, and she won three free tickets. So um, he was the first call he made after we beat Denver. He was like, "Hey, you want to go down to St. Louis and go to the game?" And I was like, "Dude, you got to be kidding me! Of course I do." I was scrambling to try to find tickets as soon as they won in overtime. So was fortunate enough to drive down there with the fiance and one of her roommates that also went to Western, and got to see a lot of alum and some familiar faces. And luckily it was a win for the Broncos and not a sad car ride home from St. Louis.
Awesome, awesome. No, I can't imagine the experience, and like you said, Bronco faithfuls still going hard as they should be. But I want to talk about Howie's Hockey. Want to talk about your role there, business development and HR director. For the people listening, what does that role entail? What does it mean? What's your day to day like right now, Cam?
Yeah, so a common misconception about Howie's is that we're some like massive, hockey corporation, like the Bowers and the CCMs of the world. Like we're trying to get there and scaling, but a lot of us wear a lot of hats around here. So the title business development and HR director kind of encompasses a lot of different things. The main responsibilities that I'm handling on a daily basis are obviously the recruiting, the staffing, the onboarding, and the general employee development on a day, like for the entire team here in the U.S. and our Canadian location. But I'm also leading our business development and customer experience team. So making sure that every customer that we have is being taken care of to the best of our ability. And whether it's a mom in Minnesota ordering a single pair of laces for her, 6-year-old son, or the Toronto Maple Leafs ordering for their big order for the year. We want them to feel the exact same and feel like they're the king of the world in the hockey industry. And then on the last side of things, the business development and sales side of things, I also manage a sales team. So trying to track down new opportunities both on the hockey side and athletic side of our business. So I stay busy doing a lot of different things and kind of having my hand in a lot of different jars.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, I always say on here, people are probably tired of it, but I think those are the best roles where you get to see so many different avenues of the business. You get to try so many different things. You get to find out what you like, what you're good at, what you don't like, what you're maybe not as good at. But talk to me about the team there. You mentioned kind of not being the behemoth that some of the others are in the industry, but you guys have had a ton of success. You've grown a fair bit. The new office is beautiful. Talk to me a little bit about the team, how many people you're working with there, the culture that you guys have built at Howie's there in Michigan.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long-winded answer. I hope that's okay.
Absolutely. Take it away.
Uh, so Howies was founded in 2002 while our owner Max was still in college. And literally the team was like him and one other guy. And they were just calling everyone and anyone trying to get our product out there and try to get a superior tape into the market. And it was literally like in your mom's basement, cold calling junior teams, college teams, like pro teams, whatever they could do to get the product out there. And since then, we've gone through four different headquarters, and we're now on five. So we've grown considerably, and it's been a rocket ship, and was a big reason why I wanted to jump on board when I did, because I see a lot of potential. We've grown by 15 full-time employees in the past year, which has made me extremely busy. But busy is good, and we're flirting on the line now of small to medium business. I think we just hit 51 full-timers, so we're right on that line. And a big part of that is bringing on the right people, and a big part of that is not only their skills and their attributes that they have on their resume, but really how they can just get on a call like this and have a good conversation around our business and around the game, and also have the tangible skills to help this place grow and continue pushing the pace. So culture is everything. Performance is everything. It's just not the Howie's way. World's highest quality products, world's highest quality business.
That's awesome to hear. And like you said, you guys have been hiring a lot of internships. We've been fortunate to post a bunch with you guys there and have seen some of the posts about people joining you guys' team. But I always find the more impressive thing, and again, I've seen it from you guys a fair bit, is people posting when they leave, when they finish their internship. That's always my kind of internal barometer of did somebody enjoy? Is that a good place to work? And we've seen a lot of that from people working on the team there with Howies. You mentioned you're involved heavily in the hiring, in the recruiting side of things. What do you personally look for in a candidate, in an intern, all the different roles that you guys have been hiring for? Kind of long-winded answer, maybe, but what do you look for in an ideal candidate?
Yeah, good question. So it is awesome to see when people leave, they have nothing but good things to say. And that's a big part of my role too, is the offboarding and making sure that they're, ready to go into the workforce. If it's not with our company, it's somewhere else where they're going to, kick ass. And that's exactly what we're hoping for. So, for me, the ideal candidate really, it's cliche, but it depends on the role
Yeah.
considerably. Uh, when we're looking in like my sales interns and the people who are coming in here trying to like push our product and get it out in the market, like we're not looking for snake oil salesmen, where they're just going to do everything greasy in their power to get the job done. We want people who actually care. The main message that we have here is we love our products, but our customer service and the way that we treat people is like our number one bread and butter. Like we will not do something a certain way if it's not going to benefit the customer.
Yep.
So we want people who love Howies, are very prideful of being here. They have faith in the products. They've experienced our products in some form or another, and they're ready to go out there and move it to somebody else because they know that they have to have this stuff, right? Like it's not like yeah, we have some cool products. Like you might want to try this out. It's like you want to be on the phone. Like you are not gonna not need this product. I promise you. Like this is legit awesome because X Y Z. I've used it in these scenarios and it's never let me down. So in sales, that's awesome. When it comes to marketing, it's a new day and age. There's the AI, the SEO, all the different stuff that goes into getting our name out there. And hockey has been an established market for us where we're not super pressed to get our name out there. I feel like a lot of people know who we are, but really on the athletic side of things, like do the Detroit Lions know who Howie's Athletics is?
Yep.
Do the Milwaukee Brewers know who Howie's Athletics are? And we want people that are forward thinking and people who are going to jump on and want to move Howie's into the next bracket of sports companies out there, and not just have our niche stuff where it's our tape and our wax and our laces that everyone knows and loves already. We want new products coming out. We want the best marketing practices. We want people who are really forward thinking, and the people who are able to talk the talk and hop on calls and talk to suppliers, talk to prospective clients, talk to really anybody out in the market and be able to snap it back and forth. That's exactly who we want to bring on board. So the skills have to be there, like I mentioned. It's got to be like you got to have some good experience. You got to have good references and people who are in your corner who are going to come to bat and speak on your behalf. But it's also being able to come into an interview and be confident. Have that like I hate to use the word, but swagger about yourself, where you're coming in and you know that you're right for the role. Now it's time to walk the walk after you talk the talk.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. I think that's very well said, and I totally agree on a lot of the skills for sales and marketing, especially there. I've hired dozens of interns before as well, and like you said, it's all about kind of how you present yourself, position yourself. It's not cocky, but it's confident that you know what you know. If we go to maybe somebody a couple years a little bit younger, somebody looking for that first internship, somebody looking to break into these sorts of things, how do you look at, or how do you feel somebody should position themselves when maybe they don't have that experience yet? I know you're looking for those innate characteristics, attributes in the interview, but how can somebody present those on their resume to catch your eye when maybe they haven't done many or any internships yet?
Yeah, so a big thing that we look for and something that is like I think very impressive is when someone comes with like even something as minute as like running like a lawn like mowing business in high school, like you got showing that entrepreneurial spirit and that you're a go-getter and that you're really not satisfied just sitting on your couch watching TV all summer and just maybe doing the occasional workout or skate if you're an athlete or something like that, but you know having just something in your background where you're like, this is what I did. I formulated this plan. I did this myself. I went out there and I did the damn thing. I think that shows an awesome like start to somebody who's going to be just a go getter and someone that's going to make your company a better place. And if you don't have that, then maybe as a freshman, switch on some of your projects that you worked on in some of your classes. Like, what were some big ones that stood out to you? What did you learn from it? Like, how did you apply different angles of the business process to get to an end goal in the project that led to success for you or your group? Really just those small things. If you're able to speak on those and have confidence that like what you've been learning and what you've experienced in your life is going to help you and help the business, those are huge head starts for people. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah, totally agree again. And to take that even one further, I'd say like volunteering as well within
Absolutely.
sports, because I know every local team, every junior team, every college team is looking for extra hands on deck, and volunteer opportunities might not be glamorous. You might wish there was a paycheck, but just seeing that on a resume so often just opens my eyes a little bit more to this person wants to go out there and get after it, right?
For sure. And just doing a broad variety of things, right? Like you could do like one specific job for a really long time and really like it, or go out there and try some new things, push your boundaries a little bit, be a little bit uncomfortable and be able to talk about how that made you uncomfortable, but what you learned from it are also huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to get a little bit more into your kind of experience from your playing days to today as well. But I want to circle back on what you brought up about how he's there kind of expanding more into athletics and beyond hockey. And what does that look like for the business? How are you guys going about that? How do you think about kind of those next phases, those next steps for Howie's? Like you said, hockey's a small world, it's a small industry.
Mm.
How do you guys look at taking it to even the next level than you already have?
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, we're in a new building now, and the whole like mindset behind coming in here was we want people to come in here and be like, oh, this is a hockey company. Like like there's sticks all over the place. There's jerseys on the walls. There's people's cubes are all decorated with different like mini Stanley Cups or team flags or anything like that. So, I mean, like we still like live, eat, breathe hockey. But at the same time, our fastest growing segment of the business is athletics. And a big reason that is the case is because we're not able to just expand in one particular sport. Like we're not Howie football, it's athletics in general. So we're in basketball, we're in football, baseball, rugby, tennis, lacrosse, you name in the sport. Like we're breaking down barriers and trying to get in there. Um, the thought process behind that when they started the company in 2015 was we can come out with new products in the hockey realm and be successful there, or we can come out with new products in the athletic realm and be extremely successful there. So on both sides, it's kind of like looking at our current catalog, what we've got, what's selling really well, what do people love, and then the next step is what do they need. So we're coming out with stuff with like the protective gear, which has been a huge seller for us. That's been awesome. But then on the athletic side, you got companies out there like Johnson and Johnson, Kramer, Mueller, companies that have been around since like the early 1900s doing this stuff, and their catalog is 200 pages thick with every type of athletic training thing you could ever think of. Our mindset kind of goes back to the entrepreneurial thing is like, why are we not there? How can we get there? How are we going to get to that next level? So coming out with new products, doing an awesome job of marketing it, and then also backing it up with really quality customer service is how we're really progressing to the next level.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. And I think to make that tangible or relatable for people, I always say, like, and kind of similar to how Howie's did is, started with hockey and now you're growing into more. You're growing into more things. Like, you don't have to be everybody's everything initially. So for anybody kind of looking to start their first thing or kind of taking that next step, like start with one thing and get really damn good at it. And that's what you guys have done with hockey. Like you said, that's
For
still
sure.
bread and butter. And now because you've got that success, you've got the customers who will ride and die for you guys, you can expand into those other areas, right? So anything that people are starting listening, whether it's posting blogs online about your favorite team when the Broncos win or social media stuff online, it's starting small and then expanding as you can, right?
Absolutely. I think our athletics business had one product for like 5 years. Like
Yeah.
we were doing like 1.5 inch and 2 inch athletic tape.
Wow.
That was literally it for like multiple years. And it's been a slow progression of okay, let's add this. We know this is gonna do well, then do that really well, and then continue doing that and just kind of building off that year over year. And we're now at a point where we're dipping our toes into stuff that we never would have thought we would be 10 years ago. So it's definitely exciting.
That's awesome to hear, and it's been awesome to see as a consumer, as a fan of the products as well. But I want to shift a little bit from the Howie side of things into the Cam side of things. We touched
Sure.
at Western Michigan alum. You played your college hockey days there. You went to school for engineering. You've worked a number of different kind of industries and jobs along the way. Take us through your path, your journey, kind of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so I'm from West Michigan. I'm from Grand Rapids. I was born and raised here, and obviously have a lot of love and respect for the city. And when I was coming up, I was always kind of an analytically minded person, and knew that I wanted to pursue a career with some critical thinking and the math side of my brain, which I always loved, which I think is a little bit weird now that I'm in a recruiting position. But um, yeah, I played youth here at a program called Michigan Nationals, which is now Fox Motors, which I'm now coaching at, which has been a fun new chapter. And then I went and played juniors, 2 years of USHL. I was already committed to Western, and a big reason for that is I just love this side of the state. I love Michigan. I grew up going to Broncos games at Lawson and smelling the roasted almonds, and those memories flooded back when I went in there for my first game. And a big reason I chose Western was not only the culture that they had developed and the pro talent that they were pumping out and the league that they were in. I mean, the NCHC is phenomenal, but their engineering school there is like immaculate. Right when I came, like right before I came in, they had just finished building a new engineering campus, which is where I spent a lot of my time on campus, and that was a blessing. They had a lot of really cool stuff that I was able to experience, and I wanted to be close enough to home where I could pop back for Christmas or whenever we had a weekend break or anything like that, but just far enough away from the parents where they weren't stopping by every weekend, but they were able to still come watch me play. So, um, yeah, it was a cool progression going out of state for a few years and doing the junior thing in Iowa for Waterloo and Des Moines. But coming back home just felt natural and was able to see some friends that I went to high school with and meet some awesome new people and also have some pretty successful years with the Broncos.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's always nice to get away there for a couple years, but come back to home, like you said as well. What the career kind of takeoff look like from there? What was the first role out of school, and kind of what was the succession or ladder to where you are today at Howie's?
Yeah, so during my time at Western, I was not super available for internships or jobs during the summer because at Western it's mandatory but optional to work out and skate every single day, and that took a lot out of me. But I feel like that I learned a lot of time management and a lot of life skills that were, bound to help me eventually when I broke into the professional ranks. And the first real job that I had was after my third year at Western. I decided to take a step away from the game and really focus on my academics and just really like focusing on my future. And I was a mechanical engineering and manufacturing engineering intern at a company here in Grand Rapids called Jedco. So I was very nitty gritty, ground level, doing AutoCAD systems work, routing of parts for actual end cones that go on the engine block of the F-35 fighter jet, the F-135 Pratt and Whitney Lightning II engine to be specific. I'm gonna nerd out on you for a second, but was able to help out with some manufacturing and some mechanical engineering for those parts, and that really opened my eyes. I was like, dang, like this is real life. Like this is crazy. Like people do this on a daily basis, and this is what makes society function. So I've learned a lot of value in that, and that was my first real like go at a job. Then I took a massive step back and was a cook at Qdoba. So a little bit different from manufacturing engines for the military was cooking at Qdoba, which I actually valued and um, enjoyed my time there. Learned some different skills, kind of more of the customer service and customer facing type position, and also just kind of like getting your hands dirty, like getting in the nitty gritty and doing something that might make some people uncomfortable, which I would encourage people to do. And after that, I had luckily a coach of mine from back in the day from the Michigan Nationals owned a business out in Las Vegas, and when he moved out there, he kind of followed me through university, knew that I was a personable, outgoing type person who was also studying engineering, which is a bit of an oddity. And when I was done with college, he was like, "Hey, you want to come work as a sales engineer for a company out in Las Vegas?" And I jumped on it. I was like, get away from home for a little bit, try some new things, get uncomfortable once again, and learn some different culture and check out some new places. And that was my first time like big boy job. I guess my official 9 to 5 entrance which was super cool. Loved the company, loved the ownership. They had a great culture there as well, and that kind of brought me back more into the military side of things, and was doing some engineering and doing some sales for super highly engineered fasteners that went into like the power field, oil and gas, water systems, and then military applications. So like we made bolts that went on like the Columbia class submarine, the Virginia class cruise ship carrier, all those kind of things, and those were very unique. Getting to work there was pretty cool. Um, then afterwards, I was missing friends and family a little bit when I was out in Vegas. It was nice to be out there for about 2.5 years. And then in the summer of 2023, I came back and worked for a company called ITW Fake Proof. They're a subsidiary of ITW Illinois Tool Works, which is a massive, massive corporation. I think they're somewhere around 15 billion in revenue, 40,000 employees, something insane. I liked that, liked my team a lot, but I just felt too corporate. Didn't really necessarily love the fact that it was like you're replaceable, you're kind of a number. Uh, didn't love the work I was doing on a daily basis, and then luckily enough, a position opened up at Howies right in my backyard. Hockey company, hockey player. Felt it was time for me to get back into the ring when it comes to hockey, because I had been out for like 2.5 years. I didn't touch the ice when I was out in Vegas for 2.5 years,
Wow.
and I went to a handful of night games, and that was pretty much my only exposure. And now I'm working at a hockey company, playing men's league, coaching. Kind of just went full hockey mode back into the swing of things, and I've been able to apply a lot of those skills that I learned from being in the professional ranks to use that in my current role here with Howie, which has been awesome.
No, I love to
Sorry
hear.
that.
I think a lot of times people think like once you're out of the game, it's so hard to get back into the game. But I think that's a testament to, you said get uncomfortable. I think that that's super important for people. You got to try other things. You got to know what's out there. You got to know, I always say like, it's almost as important to know what you dislike as it is to know what you do like. You got to try
For
those different
sure.
things. You got to see a little bit of corporate America, some hands-on mechanical engineering, and then at the end of the day, you're back home, you're doing what you love, you're involved in hockey. What were some of those, I guess, skills, lessons, or otherwise that you see in others as well that transfer well from other industries to hockey? Again, I think a lot of times people think, oh, I've been in accounting in corporate America for 10 years. I could never work for a hockey team. Okay, well, hockey teams do accounting too. They have big departments too, right? What are those transferable kind of skills or items that you experienced yourself and have seen with others?
Yeah, I think that's something that really like opened my eyes is when I got my first full-time job in Vegas. You think of a fastener manufacturing company. You think, okay, there's probably some engineers that are doing some design work. There's probably some people that are manufacturing on the floor doing the screws, and then there's like the owner of the company, and that's pretty much it. And as a 22-year-old, of course, that's what I think. Like what would I know? I study engineering. That's the only thing out there for me. When I got there, I was like, oh, they have an accounting team. Oh, they have a quality team. They have sales. They have customer service. They have production. They have like account management. They have everything, like literally everything. And that's not unique to just Vegas Fastener. That's not unique to just Howie's. Everyone has all of those things. And I feel that the number one thing that stuck with me about my first boss was he always had this quote that I loved that said, you can teach skills, you can't teach DNA and character. And I was like, that's fantastic advice. I think that if you apply yourself and are open to criticism, are open to feedback, ask the right kind of questions, you can transfer from accounting at a fastener firm to accounting within a hockey team. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You just have to be confident, ask the right questions, and have that good DNA and personality that people want to work with on a daily basis.
100%. Very well said. And I think a lot of times we come back to what we said initially with the internships. It's about presenting yourself and presenting that you know how to do that and pitching that you can do it. I think a lot of times people who, again, to use accounting as an example, 10 years accounting experience, apply for an NHL team's accounting department, don't hear back. Okay, you had some of the skills on your resume, but you didn't really pitch why you align with the team or why you would be a fit, right? So it's, yes, accumulating those skills and experience, but it's also, again, just how you position it and everything, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's two sides to the same coin there. There's the people who are super skilled and love hockey, but present the skills first and don't touch on their connection with the company or wherever they're trying to work. Then there's other people who are super into hockey, who don't have the skills who apply for the position. They're like, but I love Howie, but I love this team. Like, why didn't I get this role? It's like, well, you kind of have to have a really healthy mix of both things.
100%.
You have to have the critical thinking, you have to have the work experience and life experience, but you also kind of have to be committed to that brand. So big advice to anyone out there is don't just love a place and apply to it because you love it, and don't apply to it because you think that you're not hockey enough or you're not sports enough to work at that place. Like there is totally room for people who have a healthy mix of both things.
Absolutely, yeah. It's finding that balance and striking that balance, which can be difficult. I feel like I see online a lot of times, like don't be a fan when you're applying and stuff like that. Okay, yes, don't show up in your signed Austin Matthews jersey to the Leafs interview like with your foam finger on, but also express your love for it. Express why you'd be good for it. Don't answer how you could do the job. Like explain why you would be great to do their job, right?
Absolutely. I think that a big thing that I've seen in a lot of our interns and a lot of our full-time hires have been people like, I have XYZ skills. I've done this exact type of role. I've been very successful in this role with different companies. By the way, huge fan of Howie's. I've grown up using your stuff. Huge fan of hockey. I still keep up with you guys on social media all the time. I think what you guys are doing is fantastic.
Perfect.
That's a
Perfect.
that's a perfect balance of you have all the skills, you're meeting our boxes, you're a good personality fit, you're a good culture fit for the company. Also, you're a hockey guy. You love our brand. You're going to be prideful in what you do and commit to it.
Exactly, and it's that confidence that you said before. It's that confidence to find that balance and explain those things. And that's perfect. That's the clip for the episode right there. That's given out to people. We talked about sales a fair bit as well there, Cam. I always look at sales as probably the most transferable and just like skill building type of thing. And again, especially in hockey and sports, sales is the biggest department with most companies, with most teams. There's the most job openings within sales out of any department. What other kind of skills, experiences, things did you learn about yourself through doing some sales and kind of outward roles there as well?
I think that I completely agree with you first and foremost. That is definitely the most transferable. It's the one that's the most available out there in the marketplace. But at the same time, I think everything is sales.
Yeah.
I think that if you're in marketing, you're selling the product to somebody. You're not doing it like word of mouth, like I would be selling something to you, but like you are thinking, how are the end consumers going to take this message? You have to be able to make that sale. Engineering, convincing your client, whoever it is, like you have to sell them on the part design. You have to sell them on the cost. You have to sell them on the materials. Really, everything that you do, and in an interview, you're selling yourself, right? Like you're not just gonna get the job because you got skills. Like you're competing against other people, and it's a lot like a hockey game. Like you have to, sell yourself to that company and prove to them that like you are better than the guy next to you because of these certain reasons, and don't take no for an answer. So sorry if I got a little sidetracked there, but I completely agree. I've used that quote before. Sales is everything. Everything that you do is sales.
Totally agree. And I saw the other day. I'll credit the random Twitter account that I saw it on if I find it. But they said if you're not buying, you're selling. Unless you
Yeah.
are the one that's buying something, everything you do is selling, positioning yourself, presenting yourself, the confidence you walk in a room with, the way you sell parts to somebody. Exactly. Everything else is sales. But Cam, this has been awesome here. I think there's been a ton of great advice through this that we've stumbled on already and kind of uncovered. But always like to wrap things up here with a question around advice. And again, it's good for the clips. So, what is the best advice for somebody that is looking to start a career or find a career in the game of hockey today?
Yeah. I think that I can speak on this from good experience. Don't be constrained by your major.
Yeah,
That is my biggest piece of advice that I tell everybody is do not feel that because you have a BSc on your resume or on your excuse me, your diploma, that you cannot work in recruiting, you can't work in sales, you can't work in marketing. Like do not let what you went to school for define you. And I think that if you apply the skills that you learned in whatever you studied in college or whatever you did in high school, like you can apply that to other positions within a company. As long as you're able to think critically, speak like with a lot of confidence and speak with conviction, you're gonna be able to do anything you want in the world of sports. There's plenty of opportunities out there, and just shoot high. Think of yourself in a higher light and be confident because you can do it if you apply yourself.
Perfect. That's a 10 out of 10 answer. That's going to be another clip for the team here. But one more question to lean on the advice side of things. Again, just given how much you're looking at resumes, interviewing candidates, I'm always astonished at the quality of resumes that I see day to day. I
Yeah,
think it's just something that doesn't get taught or trained or worked on enough through school, I guess. Hopefully, going to start a component of working in hockey here soon that helps people with their resumes. But
that's
from
good
your
stuff.
side of things, Cam, what advice would you give for somebody looking to make their resume? How can you make it stand out to you without being one of these over the top crazy designs that people are trying to do now?
I will say AI is your friend. Don't let it be your best friend,
Well
if
said.
that makes sense. I love to see people who structure their resume in a really cohesive, clean way where it pops out and shows some really good experiences with some well put together bullet points talking about what you did. But do not fall into the trap of just throwing word salad into a chat GPT and just letting it spit out a resume for you because that is not going to come across as genuine. I am not a trained tech guy who can like just tell right away that it's AI, but I will know that it's AI. And then also shorten them up, people. Don't have your resumes be 3 pages long if you're just finishing up college. If you are a 25-year veteran and you've worked at 7 different companies, sure, you can have 3 pages. But unless you are in that position, you should be no longer than two, ever, ever.
Amen to that. One is perfect, two is acceptable. What's the longest resume you've ever seen?
I saw a resume a couple weeks ago that was about 4.5 pages long. Guy was 27.
That's insane. That's insane.
Not enough, not enough experience there for 4 pages, man.
I came across one probably fall of last year. I think it had to have been a joke. It was almost 20 pages. It was about 17 pages, and it was just bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Couldn't agree more. One page is perfect, two is acceptable.
Agree. And it's actually unbelievable too. Like th- they say that like if you don't have a good resume, you're not gonna get looked at. And like sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. But like if I see a really sloppy, like not well put together resume, and you submitted that to me and you turned that in, like you had all the opportunity in the world to refine that, and you turned that in, I'm like that you don't care. Like
Yeah.
you don't have the level of attention to detail. You don't have the level of commitment to your craft. That's an automatic no almost like 99% of the time.
I completely agree. Completely agree. And I keep dragging this out on you, but one more topic there. Do
No,
you
fire away, man.
suggest tailoring resumes to each role? If somebody were to apply to a sales internship and a marketing internship at Howie's, would you want them to use the same resume for each, or would you want them to tweak, tailor their experience, kind of change the order, change their skills to align with the role, given that they actually have experienced those skills and stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't mind that approach. I think that that is a level of commitment that you're showing. I think that's a respectable thing to do for recruiters out there, and it puts you in a good light. But at the same time, I think it goes back to our conversation about how you should push yourself to do different experiences and experience a lot of different things because a lot of those different responsibilities or roles that you have might come into play for certain places. So for me, if someone's applying in sales but they have engineering experience, I think that's really valuable. If you have accounting experience and you're applying for marketing, I think that's valuable. You know that everything's not free. Like these things cost money. You have to have a good idea of how to handle a budget. And I think having all those accumulated onto one is honestly great. If you're very well versed and you've had really good roles that have exposed you to different things, I wouldn't be afraid to put that all on one.
No, I completely agree there, and I think I like a little diversification as well. Like you said, with the experience, sometimes, and it's weird, it's different for each role that I hire, but sometimes I like seeing somebody who's worked in five different departments or industries as opposed to somebody who's just been project manager for the last 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like if I had like applied to Howie's and only had my engineering experience on there, they probably would have thought that I wasn't very personable and wouldn't be able to make, conversations happen with our customers and with you know, prospective, candidates that want to work for us. I think that the sales aspect of things that I did and also kind of the customer service stuff that I did is valuable.
Yeah, all pieces of the puzzle, all pieces of the puzzle. But this has been awesome, dude. I can't thank you enough for the time here. Lots of good, tangible insights and advice for people working on their resumes, applying to Howies, or wherever it may be. Anything you want to plug, shout out, or tell people to check out here?
No, I honestly like this has been awesome. Like I appreciate your time, man. This is it's been fun. It's been a little bit of a dream for me to go on a hockey podcast. Hopefully this catches Chiclet's eye and they want to have me on and talk Howie's hockey. But follow Howie's hockey on social media, follow Howie's athletics on social media, and go Broncos.
Perfect. There he is, always selling. This has been another episode of the Working in Hockey podcast. Thanks again, Cam. And guys, we'll see you next week.